led by the state of California, which has completed an extensive study and put forth recommendations to enact reparations. California's reparations actions have huge nationwide implications. The California Task Force was the first of its kind in the nation, and the states of New York and Colorado recently voted to take on the issue. Dozens of cities from coast to coast, including San Francisco, Boston, Los Angeles, and Detroit, have started their own reparations commissions. One of the first known reparationists was Callie House, who toured the nation advocating for reparations in the 1890s. But never in this nation's history has the movement to heal the harms of enslavement, institutionalized racism, and the system of white supremacy seemed so strong. The topic remains untouchable for most elected officials, and the call for reparations has not yet garnered widespread public support. Polling shows that most Californians agree that black fellow citizens are still suffering from the damage done by slavery and Jim Crow, but they still do not support cash reparations. The California Legislative Black Caucus has introduced a package of proposals for bills that do not include 1 penny of cash compensation, restitution, or repair. Governor Newsom and other lawmakers have distanced themselves from the concept of cash payments. While Newsom is right, cash alone will not repair our collective harm, the state's goofy legislative package ignoring monetary payments is disingenuous. California lawmakers need to step up and put a reparations bill for cash payments on the table. The issue of how it is funded, the timeline, or whether it impacts our current budget challenges can be addressed. But we must strike while the iron is hot, or the window of opportunity will pass us by. If you agree that it's time for our lawmakers to add a bill enacting cash payments to their lineup, call them at 916-319-3868 and say, if it doesn't include cash, it ain't reparations. That's 916-319-3868. Tell him Callie House sent you. From Bruce's Beach to the California Task Force, the Golden State is a trailblazer when it comes to reparations. The world is watching. We must rise to the historical moment and set a precedent for cash payments along with legislative remedies and policies addressing the systemic badges of slavery and Jim Crow. We must insist on measures significant enough to help close the racial wealth gap. California must stand for cash, and the time for reparations is now. For KBLA Talk 1580, I'm Dominique DiPrima. We welcome your comments.
First things first.
Things first, it's the DU General, Money B. I'ma put you up on the schedule. 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not 2 and 7. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DiPrima go way back. Tag Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DiPrima. Go sis.
First things first.
Good morning and God bless. I'm Dominique DiPrima. The show is First Things First. And my first thing today and every single day, giving thanks, giving praises, and asking for blessings from God, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders, and getting it going. Let's start our day, our Friday, to be specific. So the way we do things on Fridays, hour one, we look local, what's going on the left coast. Hour two is Freedman Fridays, a comprehensive reparations conversation. All comers welcome, all viewpoints, philosophies, organizations, even haters come on in. And then in the third hour, we do open up the phone lines to unpack what we've heard on Freedman Fridays, but you're welcome to bring up anything of interest to you. You're actually welcome to call any hour, but that's how we do things Fridays. Fridays are a little different around here because we are committed to progress, education, understanding around the issue of reparations, and we are not stopping. If you want to get in, you can do it this way, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580, or you can hit me up on social media. We're KBLA 1580 on every platform. And mine, of course, is DiPrima Radio, DiPrima, and then radio. If you want to bother Miles or buy his music, you can go to Miles Low Music on all platforms. See how easy that was? Please like, follow, and subscribe while you're at it. Maybe you're already on YouTube, KBLA 1580. If you haven't subscribed yet, you just hang out in the chat. That's all good, but we would love if you would subscribe, hit the like button, give KBLA and your sister Dominique a little love around here. Joining me, our one partner in politics, my Friday colleague. You've seen him on Fox Soul. He's a KBLA contributor, and he is the president of ES Advisors, which is a public policy organization working on campaigns and all kinds of various initiatives that you probably have heard of and didn't know Ed Sanders was working on it. Good morning, Mr. Sanders.
Good morning, Dominique. Happy Friday. How are you doing today?
I'm good. We do have a lot to talk about. Seems like there's so much going on locally. One thing that I haven't discussed at all because I don't really understand the whole story, but you probably do because you're a sports guy. What is happening with Shohei Ohtani? We heard the translator was fired and that he was stealing from the guy, and now they're saying he might be under investigation. What the heck what's going on? This guy is a superstar and super rich, so I don't get it.
Well, you know me. I am always going to wait to see more information come out. I think it's really early to try to assess the situation. I mean, what's clear is that there's been some dabbling in the money, but his connection to it is not yet clear. I think the bigger piece is it's just a shame given the fanfare around his free agent signing by the Dodgers, what he's going to represent to the league as a Dodger. His talent is incredible. The ability to pitch and then hit for power as he does, you just haven't seen that. But you want a superstar of this magnitude, especially on the international level, to not be mired in scandal, before the season starts.
It sounds like it could be a movie. I mean, they're saying that this guy Ippei Mizuhara, same last name as Theo. Anyway, Ippei Mizuhara, his right-hand guy and his interpreter, was stealing to gamble on sports. But, I mean, now you wonder, was this guy really just fronting off for Ohtani? Was he, said it was a massive debt, gambling, and that they're not cooperating with investigators? Sounds like a whole movie to me. You're right. No jumping to conclusions here.
Yeah, nice shout out to Theo, but
well, most people don't know Theo's real last name was Mizuhara. Of course, I'm talking about the legendary radio personality Theo from the Bay Area. And a lot of people come up to me, Ed, all the time and ask me, "Where's Theo?"
Where is Theo? I have to ask the question now.
I don't know. I know Theo was making a bundle of money doing voiceovers, and he had radio shows in multiple markets where he would just record the tracks and they would play them as if he was, live in the studio. But that's the last I heard. I haven't heard from Theo. So maybe ask Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I'm sure he'll pop up soon.
Yeah, I remember the shock waves that went all through L.A. when people found out Theo wasn't black, but he was Japanese. In any case, that's the thing about radio. It's theater of the mind. I assure you I am black. No surprises here. So it looks like, we're still counting votes. I saw LA Daily News last night, said that Proposition 1 had been victorious, but I'm confused because I know they're still counting votes, and I know that particular proposition, which is backed by the governor, and then the governor was talking about, was urging voters who had problems, like say their signature didn't match the signature on the envelope and their votes had been set aside, to cure your vote. So if you're notified that your vote didn't count because there was a problem with your signature or your address or something like that, in California, voters have the opportunity to go fix it, to, do their signature right, or if they missed it, fill it in. And the governor was asking people to do that because that's how close Proposition 1 was.
Yeah, I think that's right. It is close, but I think you can take some estimates. I mean, obviously, the election has not yet been certified, and I think that is where some of the confusion comes in. There are all sorts of prognosticators that can take a look at vote totals and the trends and have a sense of what vote is still to be counted and make pretty accurate predictions.
Okay, it looks like this morning the New York Times is calling it. New York Times says California. It's funny, they're reporting on our local initiatives, but it says California approves Prop 1. I know that as soon as the governor said cure your votes, then the Republicans started saying the same thing, go cure your votes. But I guess what you're saying is they're calling it even though they're still counting votes.
Yeah, because you can identify where the votes are and the votes that are still to be counted, right? And there's some basic trend lines that happen depending on geography, the type of vote. You can get a sample size, and it pretty much holds true. And so, in this case, without knowing specifically which areas they're looking at, they can come to a decision. But at the what you really have to say is that the election has not yet been certified, and so there is room for it. But media want to jump to make the call, right? That's part of the storyline.
Well, they're saying 50.2% of voters. So that means it was 30,000 votes. It was 30,000 votes ahead, with out of 7 million voters. That just that's what you call. Yeah, that's what you call. I think the governor should probably write you and I a thank you note, Ed, because we might have moved those 30,000 votes just with as we were pondering and arguing this.
30,000 people listening to KBLA,
right?
Particularly First Things First, and they're getting it straight from you. So,
well, I'm thinking that there's way more, but not that many necessarily automatically do what you and I do, and we were kind of back and forth on it because there were a lot of pros and cons for Prop 1. I can see why it was so close. And to be honest with you, I hope I don't regret voting yes on it.
Yeah, it definitely is going to be one that we look back on. I mean, there's a number of different propositions that you just end up reacting to it, right? If it passes, there's a new pot of money that's going to be used to develop infrastructure for mental health services. And, there'll be some positives that come out of it. But as with anything in politics, where you give, you have to take, and therein is the debate. And that's why it's so close.
Well, you're welcome to get in on this conversation, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. We are talking Left Coast, all things Cali, but you're welcome to jump in with other things too, because really everything touches California if you think about it. If it's in the White House, it's going to end up impacting us. So whatever you want to talk about, we're here for you. Ed Sanders, Dominique DiPrima, and KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
We must understand the politics of our community, and we must know what politics is supposed to produce.
This election year, KBLA Talk 1580 is the place for politics. Unapologetically progressive politics. And we've got two of the best and brightest to help you cut through all the noise. Weekdays at 1 p.m., it's a More Perfect Union with Dr. Nicolai Corte. And at 4 p.m., it's Ariva Martin in real time. He's the university professor and distinguished member of the White House Correspondents Association. She's a best-selling author and Harvard-trained civil rights lawyer. And they are both here every day to help guide you through all the this year, because you know it's going to get deep. Get your politics on weekday afternoons at 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. with a More Perfect Union, hosted by Dr. Nicolai Corte and Ariva Martin in real time, only on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your flag.
Are you wet shaving? You'll get razor bumps.
Nah, Pops, I'm good with Gillette Skin Guard. How long you been growing that beard Mama hates anyway?
Since 77. I shaved and got ingrown so bad.
That's why I use the Gillette Skin Guard razor, face scrub, shave gel, and moisturizer, so I don't have to worry about new razor bumps or shaving irritation.
Gillette Skin Guard, huh? Your mama's gonna love this one.
The best a man can get keeps getting better with Gillette Skin Guard. Buy now at a retailer near you.
Tax Talk with Straight Talk.
You give and you give. This tax season, you get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data and a new Samsung Galaxy A15 for just $99. So you can give your janky phone to your kid. Yeah! Good talk.
Switch to Straight Talk for plans starting as low as $25 a line per month for 4 lines. Find us at Walmart and straighttalk.com. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com. Device offer ends 4/14/24. In-store activation on single Silver Unlimited plan or higher required. Family plan discount with 4 lines, all on the Silver Unlimited plan. Taxes and fees apply.
Psst. Hey, I have a secret. I use Secret Whole Body Deodorant because more than just my armpits stink.
Oh, can I use it where my bra rubs under my...
Oh, yeah.
And what about down there? You know, my...
Totally. 4 out of 5 gynecologists would recommend it. So I tried it, and now I get 72 hours of freshness from my pits to my...
Ooh, I love that it's a spray.
Me too. And it comes in sticks and creams too. Go get your Secret Whole Body Deodorant.
If you're looking for the most epic place on Earth, let's start at the base of a massive waterfall. Then trek through the thick jungle. Then climb to the peak of a snowy mountaintop. Then once you get there, keep going. Because with intelligent 4x4 and 7 drive modes and a Nissan Pathfinder, the search is the real adventure.
Available feature. Intelligent 4x4 cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Right now, Ed Sanders and Dominique DiPrima. And Ed, is there anything you want to, before we jump into these phone calls, anything you want to talk about that you're working on? I know you're constantly on different issues and upcoming initiatives, and I'm pretty sure as November approaches, you'll have more and more on your plate.
Well, yeah, always. Thank you for that. Oddly enough, today is World Water Day. The United Nations commemorates really that raises awareness of the issue that too many people on the planet do not have access to clean water, and that plays out here in California as well. There are almost always close to 1 million Californians that do not have clean water that comes out of their water system. There are, over 300 water systems in California, and these are the systems that are responsible for, building your pipes, filtering the water, and delivering it to homes. And over 300 of them are receiving a failing grade, meaning, you don't want to turn on the faucet and you can't get clean water to bathe, to cook, to live your life. And it's an issue that we don't pay enough attention to in, the Los Angeles core. We have pretty good water here in LA. DWP does a phenomenal job. And so it's sort of an out of sight, out of mind issue for us. But there are too many people of color in California that simply can't turn on the faucet. And so through an organization called Groundswell, we've been raising awareness of that issue.
Yeah, I was talking with someone from the Metropolitan Water District as part of our climate justice campaign here on the radio station. It's an historic campaign, and she was saying something that actually I found pretty alarming. I was talking about how Cape Town came this close to having no water, and Mexico City is currently in the same position. And she said that LA has come closer than most of us know to that same scenario and could again. And that's just, I mean, to me, that's just unthinkable. We talk about a big and wealthy, part of our state teetering on the brink of not having enough water resources. It's just, that would be disastrous.
Well, I mean, literally, we're an earthquake away. Southern Californians realize that most of their water is transported south from the Sierras through the aqueduct, or we get it off the Colorado River. And, if you followed the news over the last 10 years, you know that, the Colorado River levels have really declined, so much so that even the reservoirs that take water off that river are almost to dead pools, right? And that was
wow.
Just a couple of years ago. But even to the point about an earthquake, if an earthquake, damaged the aqueduct, you're looking at, 25, 26, 27 million people in Southern California that would be out of water for however long it took them to repair the aqueduct.
Nightmare. Okay,
yeah.
For those that don't know that Deadpool is more than a superhero, could you explain what it is?
I chuckle. That's one of my favorites.
Of course it is.
When the reservoir level gets that, too low, let's just say below 15% or so. I don't know what the actual level is, but the mix of sediment and mud and everything that's left there at the bottom more or less makes that water unusable. The problem being that unless you get, a huge deluge of water all at one time to raise the level.
Somebody's in here talking smack about you in the chat, Ed. She says you should be on Monday instead of Fridays because you do too much both sides. Sharonda Smith, she says, Ed is boring. He loves to be fair. She puts fair in air quotes. And both sides.
Fair?
Yeah, you're too fair.
Yeah.
And why him on Fridays? He should be on Mondays.
Monday is what, the balance day? Is that what it is?
I don't know. This is, Freedman Friday, so it's reparations. So, we are kind of on and popping all day long on Fridays. And maybe Sharonda, I know how to get Ed out of that both sides conversation. I just start picking on him, and you can see the fiery side of Ed. It's there. He doesn't show it all the time.
I'm already like, all right, let me take a sip of coffee and let's go.
Bring it, Sharonda, bring it. Now you got Ed fired up. All right, let's go to Fred calling us from Crenshaw. It's the Sharonda Challenge, Ed. Hey, Fred. Good morning.
Yeah, hi, Sister Dominique. How you doing, my sister?
I'm blessed. How are you?
Yes, okay. About the Ohtani situation, I was reading the paper, and one of the editors was saying that Ohtani should just tell the media exactly what happened here. I mean, if I lost all that money, and I'd be upset too. So I guess the Orange County DA is going to do some investigation. As your guest was saying, it's too early to tell about trying to put all the pieces together. But this is really horrible. And they tried to talk to Dave Roberts yesterday. He said, well, I really don't want to address that issue right now. So a lot of Dodger fans are, really upset about the situation. But
are you a Dodger fan, Fred?
What's that now?
Are you a Dodger fan?
Oh yeah. I've been following the Dodgers when they had Steve Garvey, Desi Baker, way back. Matter of fact, a priest friend of mine used to take me to the Dodger games when he didn't have to do the 5:30 mass on Saturday.
Oh, that's nice.
St. Agatha's.
So,
and
but you're still not voting for Garvey. I know that, Fred.
Oh no! I'm gonna go. No, I'm gonna. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Anderson because see, we need to have the Democrats take over the Senate. See, now the Democrats got the House, but the
the Democrats
got the
have
Senate.
the Republicans have the House, the Dems have the Senate.
I mean, I had
Yeah, but they need to hold on to it. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they need to hold on to it. Yeah, thanks for correcting me on that. And then about the reparations situation, I got a friend named Adrian Monta. He's the right-hand man to the governor. So I asked him about the reparation. He says, well, they're still talking about it up at the state capitol, and even if it gets passed up there, they might have a little opposition with the Republican, what's his name? I call him Grandpa all the time, Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham. If they can get it past those two people, I think.
If he works for the governor, Fred, he was playing games with you because he should have been talking about California reparations, which Mitch McConnell has no say in. Correct, Ed?
Oh, well, in that case, then maybe we can get it passed out here. I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
Then,
Ed, go ahead and respond. Yeah. Ed, you there? Hello? Yeah, okay.
I was getting bits and pieces of Fred, but I
he was just
right.
saying that he asked his friend who works for the governor when we were going to get reparations, and his friend told him Mitch McConnell and the Republicans were probably going to stop it. And I'm like, what does that have to do with California? They may stop as they have been continuously stopping it even from getting out of committee on the federal level. But on the state level, Mitch McConnell has no say-so, correct?
Yeah, no, that's right. That's right. Mitch McConnell is in the U.S. Senate, but Republicans here in California can try, but even still, they don't have the numbers to stop bills like that in the state legislature.
Yeah, go ahead, Fred. I know you had a couple more things to say. We'll land real quick because we're about to go into news, traffic, and sports.
Yeah. Okay. Can I say one more sentence?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And the thing about the voting for 2024, we don't get nowhere with third-party candidates. I was watching 34 yesterday. If you vote for a third party, you're really voting for Donald Trump.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if that... Yeah, well, you're talking about in November. 30 seconds, Ed, what are your thoughts on that?
If you are certainly anti-Trump, like we are, like the three of us are, yeah, that is the perspective. But I think, over the next couple of years, I think you're going to see more third-party candidates entering into the fray and taking people's votes, and so it is incumbent on each candidate to win the vote, right? Like no vote is just given to you, and so. I do respect that if people have choices, that those choices are theirs.
See, that was too fair. Okay, we'll get to what Ed really thinks when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. In Missouri, the World Trade Center St. Louis is hosting business leaders and officials from the African country of Rwanda this weekend. Local leaders hope the trip is the start of bringing new business to St. Louis that could center on healthcare, agriculture, trade, and education. They say results could include a sister city agreement with the country's capital and an exchange of new markets for both St. Louis and Rwanda. A man is recovering and said to be doing well after receiving a kidney transplant from a pig. Massachusetts surgeons are calling Rick Slayman a real hero for agreeing to try the groundbreaking operation this week. Slayman had a previously failed human kidney transplant. There's currently a massive shortage of human donor organs, and researchers hope animal donors may help in the future. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Robert Half research indicates 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half is here to help. Their recruiting professionals use proprietary AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com today.
Is this the dagger?
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers should be well rested. They've been off since Monday. The Lakers are back in action tonight against Philadelphia at Crypto.com. The Clippers are in Portland tonight. A tall task for the Grambling State men's basketball team today in the NCAA tournament. The SWAC champion takes on Purdue and their 7'4" center Zach Edey, the two-time National Player of the Year. Purdue is the #1 seed in the Midwest Regional. Grambling is the 16th seed. A year ago, Purdue was the #1 seed in the Midwest and made the wrong type of history when they lost in the first round to number 16 Farley Dickinson. It was the first time a 16 had beaten the #1 since the NCAA tournament expanded to 64 teams in 1985. A lot of HBCU supporters will be watching Grambling and Purdue to see if it happens again. 4:25 p.m. tip-off today on TBS. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
In the heart of California, where innovation thrives, access to high-speed internet is important to every family and business. Cal Broadband is the state's leading expert in the development and deployment of broadband infrastructure. Each day, we work to help advance the right policies that will expand the opportunities of reliable, high-speed internet to every community in our Golden State. Cal Broadband is working hard to connect California. Visit calbroadband.org for more information. That's calbroadband.org.
We heard you. You're hard at work when Tavis Smiley is on the air mid-morning, so we're giving you twice to Tavis. You can now tune in to Tavis Smiley weekdays at 9 a.m. or 9 p.m. only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Fight climate change. This Earth Day, April 22nd, go Metro and ride for free. You'll make a difference. Metro buses run on clean energy, making every day Earth Day. Together, we can clear the air and connect our communities. Start your journey at metro.net.
KBLA Talk 1580 is the fastest growing talk radio station in Southern California. Home to 50,000 watts and an audience reach of 12 million listeners. KBLA Talk 1580 is a pioneer for Black audio content, including our groundbreaking $2 million climate justice campaign and the most loyal, influential audience. According to an independent research study by the polling firm Aviterus, for the second consecutive year, KBLA Talk 1580 is the most trustworthy, reliable, and credible news source for Black audiences and beyond in Southern California. Let KBLA Talk 1580 power your advertising dollars. Our omni-channel custom marketing solutions are specifically tailored to connect with your ideal target audience. We leverage audio, podcasts, streaming, digital, social media, and local activations to get your message out to the Black community. Get in touch with our advertising team today at advertising@kbla1580.com. That's advertising at kbla1580.com. KBLA 1580. We've got you Black.
Sometimes we lose, sometimes we win. Sometimes we try to fit it all in. Sometimes we don't know what's in store. Sometimes we find what we're looking for. Sometimes we're rolling easy and free. Sometimes 1 and 1 makes 3. So much to love along this ride. That's why Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and Affiliates, Columbus, Ohio.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
All right. Did you see this, Ed, the social media influencer who got arrested in Irvine for being part of the January 6th coup attempt on the Capitol? And the thing is, she had posted all about it on social media. She had even posted pictures of herself there, and she deleted them, I think, when folks started getting arrested, and denied she was there. But apparently she climbed into the Capitol through a window and helped bring a table out. That table was then chopped up into bits and used to attack police officers. Her name is Isabella DeLuca. She was arrested last week. and charged with theft of government property and entering or remaining in a restricted area and disorderly or disruptive conduct. Thing is, after she deleted everything, she denied she was there. Someone tipped off the FBI. They got a subpoena, got her account, her social media accounts, and were easily able to find all these messages of her describing her adventures at the Capitol. Crazy, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, that's like Forrest Gump. Stupid is as stupid does, right?
Yeah.
That I love stories like this. I mean, all of particularly like that January 6th crew. I don't know what the number is up to, but there have been a ton of prosecutions on that. It's quiet, but the number of people that have been convicted on that is not a small number.
Yeah, and what I loved about that story is that they're still arresting people, right? Because there has been a lot of talk about how many got away. A lot of them did, even though quite a few have been prosecuted. And we always say, and I agree, that had those been Black Lives Matter protesters or any kind of black people protesters, they would have, if the ones that weren't dead and getting scraped off the ground, would be, there wouldn't be people getting away at all.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we know that what I'm looking at it now, it looks like over 1,200 people have been arrested. And even the folks that are just getting to arresting, it seems like that, that was 3 years ago, 3 years and change at this point. Separate and aside from all those people, what's really missing is even Donald Trump's, or those in the administration. Those arrests haven't taken place. I think I'm still looking at Merrick Garland. Like, when do you get to?
Yeah, and all of the people in Congress that enabled it too. How is Ted Cruz still like a free man? I mean, and there's a bunch of them. Josh Hawley, like that, blatantly aided, abetted, and egged on these. Insurrectionists. I don't think we'll ever see that. I doubt it.
Yeah, and that's that's why we know justice isn't blind. In plain sight, we saw them. They were on our televisions. They were in social media doing it, and there's no accountability for them.
Yeah, Paulie and Kwamel and some other folks in the chat are talking about an important story, which I did know about, but I want to get to it because Inglewood Unified School District is closing 5 of their schools by the end of 2024-25, including Morningside High School, which is kind of an iconic Inglewood institution, Crozier Junior High School, Hudnall, TK through 6 Elementary, Highland Elementary, and Kelso Elementary. And that's on top of 3 schools that they have already closed since 2019. They say that it's because of enrollment decline, and that's not just an Inglewood problem. And, enrollment has declined throughout LAUSD as well as Inglewood. But it seems sad, that these institutions are closing, and I don't know what we attribute that decline to. I know that we lost students, like there are students who never came back after the pandemic. I know that. They're saying in the chat, gentrification. That could be because if people who are more likely to go send their children to private schools move into the district, then those children won't attend the public schools. But I don't think they're saying charter schools. I don't think so, because there's a battle in LAUSD right now about whether the regular public schools will share campuses with the public charters. So the charters actually do take up campus space. So I don't know that we can blame them for the demise of these public schools, the closure of these campuses. You're a father of school-age kiddos, Ed. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think, I think your answer is like all of the above, right? And I think one more is just sort of the cost of staffing and maintaining those schools. And I think you got to kind of look back and see, where and how the funding is. that comes into Inglewood to pay for schools, right? You know, a lot of that comes from the state, but then there's property tax that pulls in money for schools, and there could be declines there as well. You referenced the charter schools, right? And yeah, there are a number of charter schools that pull kids out of, you know, or that are attracting kids away from public schools. But the politics of charters just recently changed, right? I mean, where I think in LAUSD, you know, they had a pretty warm relationship with LAUSD and were, you know, being located on schools and that sort of thing. That sort of change in the news that you were referencing is sort of the fallout from elections, right? The charter schools are going to have a harder time in LAUSD. And that may be, you know, some spillover to Inglewood as well. But
well, I mean, one thing that it does run counter to is this narrative that our institutions are being overrun by immigrants. Because if they were, we wouldn't have, you know, as Paul Lee points out in the chat, only 500 students right now at Crenshaw High School. There's plenty of migrants, documented and otherwise, in that area, in this area. This is the area where we're broadcasting from. And so according to the Republican rhetoric, those schools should be crowded, but they're not. He's also saying that the stadium cost, but the school budgets come out of state funds, not the city, right?
Yeah, but there is some business tax dollars that do go into education as well, and
local business tax.
I do remember. I don't remember the specifics, but I do remember there was some conversation around when the stadium deal was coming into Inglewood. You know, how that money would be allocated and whether it would be allocated towards education or not.
I wonder if they're going to turn those buildings into housing. I have mixed feelings about it because our children, the population of children ebb and flow. So what happens when we shut down these schools and then we have another surge and now the buildings or the properties have been sold, and you know what I mean? It's like now we're back to overcrowding again, like we used to worry about before they went on a school building spree. Remember what was it? Yeah. You know, late 90s, we used to talk about, you know, how there were schools overcrowded, and now there's, you know, crickets in our institutions. I don't know. It seems like we should have a more long vision of how to manage those assets.
Well, it throws the gauntlet down, you know, on school performance, right? I think what's at the base of all of this is a lot of people don't have confidence in the public education system, whether you're talking about LAUSD, whether you're talking about Inglewood, and to the point where if there are other options, people are choosing those options, right? Whether it be charter, private, that sort of thing.
I mean, if it's part of gentrification, though, you know, that there's no going back, because once they sell those schools, they're going to be, you know, I don't know, plant stores or whatever they do with our stuff when they gentrify. Useless businesses that no one in the community needs.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the point. Like the schools have got to find a way to compete for students, right?
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't close these schools if those were like incredibly high performing schools, right? And people were fighting to get into them. You wouldn't see that.
Yeah, true. And, you know, they're speculating in the chat about Compton and Long Beach. Again, it's going to depend on where folks are sending their children. I don't know if Long Beach is experiencing the same. Right now I'm speculating, but I know a lot of people move to Long Beach because they're supposed to have these great schools, to your point, Ed. So I don't know that they have the same problems in terms of maintaining the school populations. It'd be interesting to see that data.
Yeah, you know, look, as this comes down, this is something that we got to talk about in deeper, you know, in deeper study, because, you know, you look at, if I remember right, Inglewood School District was maybe the second largest population of African-American students in the state, if I'm remembering that correctly.
I don't know. I never saw that. I know it was taken over by the state for a while.
Yeah, but maybe it's not the number. I think maybe the percentage of students in the district.
Oh,
Or
I
something
gotcha.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but obviously LA, USD, Inglewood, and even when you start talking about Long Beach Unified, you are talking about school districts that layer over our community, and that's where these conversations and these closures really have impact. You got to look and see for us, where are we sending our kids? What are the options for our kids? And hopefully they're fortified in that way.
Love to hear from you. 800-920-1580. It's Ed Sanders and Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to here with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
Imagine with me here for a minute the most beautiful panoramic setting. Maybe it's an endless ocean, waves crashing on a beach, or a crystal clear mountain lake, peaceful and quiet. Or maybe it's just little kids playing in the park down the street. Wherever your imagination takes you, now imagine right smack in the middle of this perfect picture, a piece of litter. Just one piece right there in the middle of it all. Doesn't exactly fit, does it? In fact, even though it's just one piece, now it's all you can see. That one piece ruins everything. And that's the thing about litter. It doesn't take much to ruin everything. One thing's for sure, it simply does not belong anywhere in California. So here's the good news. If we work together, we will change it. We don't have to let litter, even just one piece, ruin your perfect picture. Not anymore, not ever again. Clean California, zero litter is the goal. Brought to you by Caltrans and CleanCA.com.
Hey, what are you doing up on the step stool?
About to clean these light fixtures. The whole family's coming over, and if there's even a speck of dust in the house, my abuela will find it.
Here, I got a Swiffer duster to help with that.
A Swiffer what?
A Swiffer duster. It has this cool extendable handle that reaches 6 feet to get high and low, with fluffy dusters that easily trap and lock dust.
So, no more step stool?
No more step stool.
Easily trap and lock dust from hard-to-reach places with the Swiffer duster. Love it or your money back.
Febreze. Fabric Talk. Hey, it's me, your couch. Today's my favorite day of the week, Febreze Fabric Spray Day. The occasional deep cleans are nice, but in between, I'm needing a refresh. Ooh, here she comes with the Febreze Fabric Spray. Oh yeah, spritz them armrests. Don't be shy. Nothing like a good spray down to get me smelling so fresh and clean. Don't forget my back. Nice. Febreze Fabric Spray. It's just that easy. Now we can both breathe happy. Febreze. La 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 la.
The thing no one tells you about periods is that your flow changes every day, and so should your tampon size. Tampax has 5 absorbencies to match your changing flow. If it hurts to remove, go down a size. If it leaks, go up a size. Only Tampax has a leak guard braid to help give you up to 100% leak and odor-free protection. All-day comfort and protection for under $5 a month. Based on average U.S. consumer usage at manufacturer suggested price. However, pricing is at the sole discretion of the retailer. Excludes 8-count pack.
So you just used bug spray in your home. Now what? Well, between the waiting and waiting for things to dry up and keeping your family away from the mess, it hits you. You could have used Zevo. Unlike other bug sprays that stick around, Zevo goes from kill to clean in seconds. Plus, it's safe for use around people and pets when used as directed. Zevo, people-friendly, bug-deadly.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate loses and love wins.
And we're talking with you and Ed Sanders, 800-920-1580. It is a Freedman Friday. We'll be hearing from Omoya Glass next hour. He and his company are behind the film Reparations Now. Also, Kim Mims will join us in the final hour, but the phones will be open to you as well. Ms. Mims also involved with that production and an activist, a reparationist. So robust conversation about our repair today, as usual, as every Friday. Please tell a friend. We need to get more folks up to speed with, everything that's going on in this space, because it's really amazing. And actually, if you've missed some of the great conversations that we've had on reparations, Dr. Cheryl Grills, Camila Moore, and so many other important voices have been in the conversation. You can find them all wherever you get your podcasts. They're also up on YouTube, and they're searchable with Freedman Fridays. So come on in and get yourself caught up. Let's go to Dwight calling us from the city of Compton. Speaking of Compton, maybe Dwight has some information about what's going on with the schools there.
Good morning, Dominique. I don't have that much information about the schools other than I appreciate Dr. Dre remodeling Compton High and all the great information. I mean, the great work that they're going to be able to do there. I think he's going to have a music class, a big music study department there, and also congratulations on him getting his star in the Walk of Hollywood. And also, congratulations to Lauryn Hill and De La Soul for being inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame with their great music. And thank you, Dominique, for everyone there. And shout out to you, Miles, Tavis, and KBLA and all the KBLA family. And also, as far as reparations, isn't it ironic that all the phones of the Secret Service, they haven't investigated that information? It was time for them to turn their phones in. I know because we're getting a new administration. But the communication between the Secret Service and whoever, the people that attacked the Capitol on January 6th, that was important information. It seems like they can get all other information they want, like they did this lady that was recently arrested for her participation in the attack. But what about the people that are right there in Washington, D.C. that were involved? Like you said earlier, the congressmen, the senators, and we know Donald Trump. He sat there for 2 hours and let this attack happen. And it's so ironic that they get the information that they cherry pick, but when something that's too close to home, seems like that's the information they don't even want to investigate. A perfect example is President Biden's son. What about $2 billion that Jared Kushner got from Saudi Arabia?
Did you hear Kushner's comments about Gaza? Oh, my goodness. I mean, he was basically saying that Gaza, there's nothing left of it. It's pretty much demolished. He's critiquing Gazans for not developing the prime beachfront property in the Gaza Strip.
You want to make beachfront like a Malibu,
right?
There
and then he says the Hamas should have spent the money developing the property instead of building tunnels. I mean, there's just so many things wrong with that. Obviously, that's not a statement of support for Hamas, so don't try to twist my words. But, you got people literally starving to death, and you're talking about beachfront property and saying that Israel should move all of those Palestinians off of there. And he says, they'll probably let them come back. That's
exactly, Dominique. And it's sad about the attack that Hamas did. They killed 1,200 people, but over 30,000 people, and most of them women and children. They're not killing Hamas. They're killing women and children, Palestinians. That like when Trump was our president, all of America wasn't behind the things that Trump was doing. And I'm sure that all of the Israelis are not behind it yet now who came here. Remember, he came here, Dominique, had a meeting with Republicans, didn't even tell President Obama.
He was invited by the Republican leadership in defiance and disrespect of the sitting American president.
That is so disrespect.
Continuing the conversation when we come forward. KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
Girl, I have a secret. When I get stressed out, I get sweaty. That's why I use Secret Clinical Antiperspirant. It's like my own secret weapon. For 72 hours, I get Secret's strongest protection against sweat caused by stress, heat, and activity, because you know how crazy life can get. Plus, it's made with advanced odor fighters that don't just cover up smelliness. They help prevent it from happening in the first place. Believe me, if I weren't wearing Secret, I'd be a hot, smelly mess. Thankfully, Secret works.
It's game day at Jim's house, and the spread is impressive.
Mike's already done some damage with the hot wings, and now he's dropping back and going deep for another slice of pizza.
I sure hope he brought the Pepto.
Mike knows the Pepto-Bismol provides fast 5-symptom relief from unexpected stomach upsets. He's no rookie.
The way he's throwing back those nachos, he's the GOAT.
Be ready for game day with Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion,
indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment. LA's 99 neighborhood councils form the grassroots level of the Los Angeles city government. The system was created to connect LA's diverse communities to City Hall. While neighborhood council board members are volunteers, they are also public officials elected to office by the members of their community. Neighborhood councils advocate on issues like homelessness, housing, land use, emergency preparedness, public safety, parks, transportation, and sustainability. They also provide local expertise on the delivery of city services to their various communities. Neighborhood councils are open to participation by anyone who is a part of the fabric of daily life in said community. This includes those who live, work, or own property or a business. If you are interested in stepping up to join your local neighborhood council, visit www.empowerla.org. That's empowerla.org. It's time to think globally, but act locally. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Find a righteous rage and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
And Dwight from Compton was speaking out about, the aftermath of the attempted coup on the U.S. Capitol, and in the chats on the same topic about how, Merrick Garland hasn't been bold in going after the Republican leadership. They're still on the rank and file. Although he's bold enough to let the special prosecutor to appoint a Republican and let him call Biden old, but not bold enough to go after people who actually tried to overthrow the U.S. government, traitors who are still sitting in Congress. Go ahead,
exactly,
Dwight.
Dominique. Yes, Dominique, and even this attack on TikTok. Now they're attacking Apple. I would rather them keep their media, and instead of giving it to the hands of Republicans, because if they did try to make those platforms be sold to somebody, they would probably try to sell it to someone that's connected to the Republican Party. Then they would use those platforms to research the people they don't like, and turn elections and things. I mean, I trust TikTok and Apple way more than I do the
okay, but to be fair, as a longtime Apple user, I'm glad they're being sued because they do a lot of shady things. They're always changing the plug, so you have to get a new phone or at least use a different, plug-in. You can't interface with other technology. You have to use Apple everything because they don't play nice in the sandbox, and they're always changing the software so that you have to get a new phone because your phone becomes inoperable. And these are $1,000 phones. Ain't nobody trying to buy a new $1,000 phone every 2-3 years. I'm glad the government is going after Apple. If I'm telling the truth here.
Yeah, and you can't even recharge your Apple phone on your old charger. I mean, that is some shady things that they should be working on. But those aren't the things they want to correct. They want to try to take over a platform so they can use them against the American people.
Well, that is what the lawsuit against Apple is about. It's an antitrust lawsuit. It's trying to make the monopoly accountable. I'm not sure how you do that. But it's great to talk to you, Dwight. It's time for news, traffic, and sports, Friedman Friday, and then we can keep talking about whatever you want on the other side. But it is Friedman Friday on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. In Missouri, the World Trade Center St. Louis is hosting business leaders and officials from the African country of Rwanda this weekend. Local leaders hope the trip is the start of bringing new business to St. Louis that could center on healthcare, agriculture, trade, and education. They say results could include a sister city agreement with the country's capital and an exchange of new markets for both St. Louis and Rwanda. A man is recovering and said to be doing well after receiving a kidney transplant from a pig. Massachusetts surgeons are calling Rick Slayman a real hero for agreeing to try the groundbreaking operation this week. Slayman had a previously failed human kidney transplant